Hello everybody, my name is Zohir Chaudhry and today we'll talk about the Millennium Development Goals or MDGs and the Sustainable Development Goals or the SDGs. So Millennium Development Goals, MDGs, these were goals that came into being in the year 2000 and they were signed by all 191 United Nations member states and the achievement target was by year 2015. You can find more information about the Millennium Development Goals by going to the specific link under the United Nations website. So what were these 8 goals? The 8 goals are listed in here and they're also shown on this side. So goal number 1, to eradicate extreme poverty and hunger. Goal number 2, to achieve universal primary education. Goal number 3, to promote gender equality and empower women. Goal number 4, to reduce child mortality. Goal number 5, to improve maternal health. Goal number 6, to achieve HIV/AIDS, malaria, and other diseases. Goal number 7, to ensure environmental sustainability. And finally, goal number 8, to develop a global partnership for development. If you carefully look at these 8 goals, they mostly apply to developing countries. Like, extreme poverty, universal primary education, and then reduce child mortality, improve maternal health. Many of these things mostly apply to developing countries. The application of the MDGs to developed countries is not as much. And that was a big problem with the MDGs. However, by the 2015, when these goals ended, new goals had to be devised. So the question is, when did the MDG end? Again, 2015. So the Sustainable Development Goal were adopted in year 2015 and will be ending by 2030. So these new sets of goals, known as the Sustainable Development Goals, they are different from the Millennium Development Goals in a sense that, again, the Millennium Development Goal just expired and the Sustainable Development Goals started. The MDGs are focusing on developing countries, whereas the SDGs are more universals and applies to all countries of the globe. The MDGs have 8 goals, whereas Sustainable Development Goals have 17 goals. So what are these SDGs? A set of 17 goals for the world's future through 2030, backed up by a set of 139 detailed targets and negotiated over a 2-year period at the United Nations. And also is agreed by nearly all of the world's nations on 25 September 2015. And so let's delve into these 17 SDGs. The first 5 of the SDGs are essentially reiterating some of the same goals that were also covered under the MDGs, essentially the unfinished business of the MDGs. These are goal number 1 for the SDGs, no poverty, essentially end poverty in all form, in all its forms everywhere. Goal number 2, end hunger, achieve food security and improved nutrition and promote sustainable agriculture. Goal number 3, ensure healthy lives and promote well-being for all at all ages. Number 4, ensure inclusive and equitable quality education and promote lifelong learning opportunities for all. And goal number 5, achieve gender equality and empower all women and girls. One thing to note in here, even though these are very similar to the MDGs, but if you look at them carefully, they do not only apply to developing countries, they also apply to developed countries, because if you think carefully, poverty is found in almost all developed countries. Hunger or food security or lack of nutrition is also seen in many parts of the developed society. And then if you look at each one of them, you'll see that these goals are worded in a manner that, irrespective of whether you are a developed or developing nations, you can actually make these goals as your own goal for the country. And that's what makes the SDGs different from the MDGs. Even though these 5 goals were unfinished business of the MDGs, they were not achieved properly. Now they have been revised in a much broader manner. So goal number 6 to 11, these are new areas that are covered by the SDGs. And they are: goal number 6, ensure availability and sustainable management of water sanitation for all. Goal number 7, ensure access to affordable, reliable, sustainable, and modern energy for all. Goal number 8, promote sustained, inclusive, and sustainable economic growth, full and productive employment, and decent work for all. Goal number 9, build resilient infrastructure, promote inclusive and sustainable industrialization, and foster innovation. Goal number 10, reduce inequality within and among countries. And goal number 11, make cities and human settlements inclusive, safe, resilient, and sustainable. In these new areas, you'll notice a word that keeps on coming over and over again, more or less. Look at goal number 6, the word sustainable. Goal number 7, sustainable. Goal number 8, sustained and sustainable. Goal number 9, sustainable. Goal number 10, it's not in here, but it's implied. Goal number 11, sustainable. So again, these are the sustainable development goals. In fact, the word sustainable is kind of repeated in many of them one way or the other, or is implied by the specific wording. Green agendas, starting from goal number 12 to 15. So goal number 12, ensures sustainable consumption and production patterns. 13, take urgent action to combat climate change and its impacts, acknowledging that the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change is the primary international intergovernmental forum for negotiating the global response to climate change. Goal number 14, conserve and sustainably use the ocean, seas, and marine resources for sustainable development. Goal number 15, protect, restore, and promote sustainable use of terrestrial ecosystems, sustainably manage forests, combat desertification, and halt and reverse land degradation and halt biodiversity loss. Again, 4 goals known as the green agendas. They all encompass the word sustainability over and over again, and the objective is to really foster an environment that is sustainable for the long run through responsible consumption and production and preservation of what we have, and fighting climate change against adverse health effects of climate change. Goal number 16 and 17 are slightly different. 16 deals with peace, justice, and strong institution, whereas 17 is partnership, because without partnership with other like-minded organizations and countries, it is difficult to achieve this very difficult global goal. So it is extremely important to form strong partnership that will steer the entire globe towards achieving these lofty objectives. So, in summary, what is new and different about the 17 SDGs? First of all, the word universality is extremely applicable in here. First and foremost, these goals apply to every nation and every sectors. So cities, businesses, schools, and organizations all are challenged to act, and this is called universality. What is new? Integration. Second, it is recognized that the goals are all interconnected in a system. We cannot aim to achieve just one goal. We must achieve them all. This is called integration. And next is transformation. It is widely recognized that achieving these goals involves making very big, fundamental changes in how we live on Earth. This is called transformation. All right, so let's do some quick concept checks. How many goals are there in the United Nations Millennium Development Goals? That's correct. There were 8 goals. How many goals are there in the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals? D, 17 goals. All right, so what are the similarities and differences between the MDGs and SDGs? A critical thinking question. So think about them, the similarities and differences, by going over the slides, and you'll be able to understand the two concepts really well. All right, thank you.